Sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing.
Somebody's a company, so they sing cuckoo. So they stand and blow with men and sing the orderloo. Sing cuckoo, how it planted after long lost after cow and coo. Soon it's where to cook the fat, so they sing cuckoo. Cuckoo, sing this blue cuckoo, let it sing the lavalioo.
Sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing.
Somebody's a company, so they sing cuckoo. So they stand and blow and men sing the orderloo. Sing the cuckoo, how it planted after long lost after counter. Soon it's there to cook the fat, so they sing to cook the fat, so they sing cuckoo. Sing it cuckoo, let it sing the lavalioo, let it sing the lavalioo.
Nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo.
Somebody's a company, so they sing cuckoo. So they stand and blow with men and sing the orderloo. Sing cuckoo, how it planted after long lost after cow and coo. Soon it's there to cook the fat, and so they sing cuckoo. Cuckoo, sing this cuckoo, let it sing the lavalioo.
Sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo nu, sing cuckoo.
Welcome to our final showcase concert. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This concert gives us an opportunity to share with you some of the things we've been working on this semester. Benvenuto al nostro concerto finale e grazie per essere unito con noi questa sera. Questo concerto offre l'opportunità di condividere parte della musica su cui abbiamo lavorato in questo semestre. The piece you just heard was Summers Are Coming In. It was written around 1250 and celebrates the beginning of spring. The music students, we studied it way back at the beginning of the semester, but since it also has a text in Middle English, we thought it would be a great one to perform with our colleagues in linguistics and literature. The next piece is one that has a direct connection to the palace here. It's called Bella Gerit, and it's one of the two pieces of music that are in the Duke's private studio in the palace. And so it was written for the Duke during his lifetime, and so it's really nice to be able to perform this one. The text celebrates the two sides of Montefeltro, of Federico da Montefeltro, as both a military person and as a patron of the arts. Its very short text is just, he captained wars and cultivated arts, Federico, the great leader of Italians abroad and at home. all of the music that we play isn't necessarily intended for concert performances, and we have a couple of pieces on the program that are like that. This next piece is by Jacques-Féréol Mazas. He was a 19th century composer, violinist, teacher, and although he's little remembered today, he was actually very well known in his lifetime. What he did was he created a lot of pieces that would have been just performed for the fun of performing them. And so what we get is a little glimpse into the domestic life of the early 19th century, as people would have just, this was their entertainment. So the piece you're going to hear is a short rondo from one of his duets for two violins. Our next piece is by a Spanish composer, Lluís Jordà. He was born in Spain, but moved to Mexico, where he became very well known for his zarzuelas. A zarzuela is a genre that merges opera with popular song and dance. This piece is a fairly sad piece. My poor translation of some of the text is, "A silent tear that moistens your eyelash and cheek. The pain of the soul is reflected in the light, and the love that tells us I will not return. Loving is the end of life, Crying is the end of love. Cry, suffer. Suffer, cry. Mangani has been a wonderful friend of our program from the beginning. And Michele, grazie mille per tutto. He runs our conducting course, he helps to organize the private lessons, and he just finds ways to make the program special for the students. As a composer, he captures the lyricism that is so fundamental to Italian music. And my wife says over and over again that she wants Michele to write the soundtrack for her life. And I can't think of a better way of describing how special his music is. So I'm very happy to perform his theme for horn. who captures the lyricism of Italian music is Giacomo Puccini. This next aria, Quando, is from his best-known opera, La Bohème, and it's sung by one of Puccini's bohemians, Musetta. Musetta's at a dinner with a very rich suitor, and this suitor looks after everything, but all Musetta wants is to make her ex-boyfriend jealous. And her ex-boyfriend is a poor painter, Marcello. So as she says, when I walk through the streets, people stare at me. The aura of desire surrounds me and makes me happy. And you, knowing, remembering, longing, don't want to reveal your anguish, but you feel as if you are dying. Our next piece is another one of these pieces that probably was more commonly played in the household than in the concert hall. It's by a German composer in the Baroque era, Georg Phillip Telemann, who was probably one of the most prolific and successful composers of his era. So he did write for almost every genre, but one of his areas that he really enjoyed was something he called house music, music to be played at home. And this is one of his little pieces that was really intended for the enjoyment of the performance. It is a Allegro from one of his canonic duets for 2 violins. Straight from Telemann to his big competition, J.S. Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, today, we generally think of Bach as not only the greatest composer of the Baroque, but probably one of the best composers of all time. But in his lifetime, he was definitely not better than Telemann. In fact, Telemann and Bach often applied for the same position, and Telemann always got the job. Bach kind of was in obscurity until about 80 years after he died, he started to become popular. There's probably a lesson there, I'm not sure exactly what it is. But we are going to hear one of Bach's keyboard pieces that he was well known for. This is from one of his French suites. Bach wrote in both the Italian and the French style, and if I had to guess if he could be anything he wanted to be, he would have been Italian. But stuck as he was in Germany, he got to at least write like either Italians or French, and this is one of those pieces. What you're going to hear is a courante from one of the French pieces. A courante is from the French word for running. It was normally a faster, one of the faster dances, and by dance, I don't mean that people would have danced to this. It just sounded like the dances, so they would have recognized the dance, but I don't think anyone would have gotten up and waltzed around for it. This dance was known for its, so as I said, it was running and it had skips in the middle, but it was also associated with sweet hope and courage. Detour into popular music here. The next two songs are from the pop jazz music repertoire. The first one by Hoagy Carmichael. Hoagy Carmichael became famous in the 1930s by taking some of the regional music styles in the United States and bringing them to international attention. He was also in several films, I believe 14 or 15 films, and he pretty much always played himself in the films, meaning he played an easygoing piano player who had a not very pretentious singing voice. So we are going to hear first from Hoagy Carmichael. First, right?
Yeah.
Okay. First from Hoagy Carmichael, we're going to hear the song The Nearness of You, and afterwards we will hear one of Richard Daul's original songs called Missing You.
It's not the pale moon that excites me, that thrills and delights me. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you. It's not your sweet conversation that brings this sensation. Oh no, it's just the nearness of you. And when you're in my arms, I can feel you so close to me. All my wildest dreams come true. I need no soft lights to enchant me. If you'll only grant me the right to hold you ever so tight, and to feel in the night the nearness of you.
composer of our next piece is Clarence Cameron White, who was an influential African-American violinist, composer, and professor. And although his compositions tend to follow 19th century concert traditions, they also draw heavily on the Black music that he heard around him at the time, and especially spirituals. In fact, he often incorporates a spiritual into his music in some way. This one, you really hear this mixture of traditions in a very special way, and it was also a favorite encore piece of Jascha Heifetz, I believe, one of the European violinists who really loved this piece. So I think you'll hear this wonderful mixture in this piece called Levy Dance. opera now with Claudio Monteverdi's final opera, The Coronation of Poppea. This opera depicts the events leading up to Poppea's marriage to the Emperor Nero and her coronation as Empress. In real life, neither Nero or Poppea were particularly kind or nice people, and several people had to be eliminated in order for this marriage to take place, including some of the spouses. But Monteverdi manages to present it, not without sarcasm, as a beautiful love story, and it culminates with this wonderful love duet. I'll just give you some of the text. I gaze upon you, I desire you. I embrace you, I enchain you. No more grieving, no more dying. Oh my life, oh my beloved, I am yours, yours am I.
Poeti
have one more piece, and as the rest of our group is coming on stage, I would like to thank some people. A program like this doesn't happen with a lot of help, and there are so many people who make it happen. So Michele, Mangani, Roberto Barani, and the Compelling Musicale, they've given us a home this semester. A lot of things that happen in this building happen very fluidly because they control things, they do things so well. It's really wonderful to be able to work with them so seamlessly. We'd like to thank Paola Fraternale and Paola and, I'm sorry, let me just make sure I say this. Shizuka Sakurai for playing with us tonight. So especially Shizuka played all the piano parts, and that was wonderful to have her contributions there. So, she stayed magically hidden behind that little post, but a very important part of this. I'd also like to thank the Italian teachers who worked with our students all semester long. Elisabetta Matticina on violin, Gabriele Buffi on trumpet, Agata Biankowski on voice, and Riccardo Bartoli on piano. Thank you so much for being here. It really makes it special for our students that they get to work with these people. And also our friends in GEV and the global initiatives, the Office of Global Initiatives. Everything that works for this makes this possible. And finally, of course, the Urbino community. We've always felt so welcomed here, and it's really nice to be a part of this. The study abroad experience is all about making connections, gaining life experiences, and placing familiar materials in new contexts. And this last piece we're going to perform does all of that. So, as it turns out, the music was written by a former chair of my department, and the words were written by a former chair of Bridget Drinker's department. What we're going to play is the UTSA alma mater. And so this gets played at football games and a lot of places, rarely at concerts, so it's really nice for us to be able to finish off with this one. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you so much.